Welcome to the 12 Ronnies podcast. 12 Ronnies helps inventors and innovators to connect with entrepreneurs and mentors to create commercial teams and then get their product to market successfully. To find out more information, go to www.12ronnies.com and follow the links below. I'm Jake Shaw and I recently caught up with Sally Graham, who runs Fern Equity, an impact investment firm specialising in impact investment. We talked about her background in working for charities, her belief that caring makes a difference and a profit, GIIN and TONIIC, the investment community, not the drink, what makes an investment opportunity attractive, and her thoughts on the advantages of age and having critical friends. Sally, how did you get into equity investment and things like that?
Okay, well, I started out by working in charities, and after about 12 years of doing that, I worked for Cancer Research UK, who are massive and very good at giving you lots of different jobs and exposure to ideas and funding opportunities. And then I worked for a university where there was R&D stuff and that sort of stuff. And what the cumulative effect of that was that I have a really great black book of generous people who care about things. And then my relationship with them is such that they were quite candid in their feedback, and more it got like, where's this money really going? What difference does it make? So we all started reading about impact investments and actually looking at sustained funding for things. And so I became trustee of the Microloan Foundation. And that was a really interesting journey into not keeping people in charity, but really empowering them to then go and make a difference. And so that was really exciting. So I read about all of that, got myself a mentor who knew about investments and stuff and taught me some of the jargon and told me what to read. Made me read pages and pages around the GIIN, which I'm quite a fan of, so that wasn't too hard. And it's the Global Impact Investment Network, and they are the sort of textbook investments for dummies, impact investments for dummies, really. So brilliantly, they have a friendly rival faction called TONIIC. So there's great humour in impact, when TONIIC are the guys who, I can't remember what it stands for, but it's about the measurement of impact. So that's another big player. So I started reading enough about that to get a bit of a sense of what was good and what was bad. And then I co-founded an existing business called Crowd.Science with a great girl called Natalie Jonk. And we both had a vision of using the crowd to fund really dynamic scientific research, but not be tied up with a big institution or whatever. So we were quite free, and also trying to engage people in impactful things. And that was really good. I did a year doing that, and we ended up being entrepreneurs in residence with Friends of the Earth, which was really good. We did a bees project with them and had some great successes. But it was really hard. But there was global appetite to fund good things, but that was never going to make any money. So I took my startup experience, and that got me into the world of incubators and people like that. And from word of mouth, and just because I talk a lot to lots of different people, I started getting sort of flow of young businesses, startups coming to me asking for, like, how does one get funding? And so I'd give them some tips and help, and then offer to introduce them to people in my network who I knew would have an interest with their specific thing. And after doing that a couple of times, I realised actually I could make some money out of this and do it as a day job. So I quit my day job, lent on my savings quite heavily, and put myself out there, just really using my network and asking for introductions to people who cared about impact. Started commenting on LinkedIn about impactful things that seemed to make sense to me, and quickly was able to spot some of the key players. I think sort of put my best foot forward in terms of making them my friends. I'm quite tenacious, and so it's organically led to businesses, and now it's not just startups, but it's Series A and later stage businesses who need investment, but they want some really good people behind them. So that's where I find myself.
So on the 12 Ronnies platform,
yes,
we have people who just have ideas, people who have startup companies, people who want to scale up and things like that. Now, you mentioned a couple of things which, if you could indulge me, you could explain. So one of them is, what's the meaning of impact investment?
Okay.
And what's Series A, Series B, Series C?
No problem. So impact investment's got loads of different meanings, whatever. My definition, which is kind of a standard one, is I look at the Sustainable Development Goals, of which there are 17, and they cross everything from, have you got women in this business? Does it make the world pollute, be polluted, or, that sort of stuff. But also, so there's all the obvious ones like that. But the other side of impact is, is it worth doing this? If you didn't do it, would someone else eventually do it because it's a must-have, the world needs this? And also, is it a scale impact? So it might be really good for Frank in Surrey, great. What we need it to be is great for 1 million Franks globally, otherwise don't bother. So there's some key, quite obvious criteria. In terms of investment rounds, there's a set series of stages. So with a business, when you have an idea, you might get some pre-seed money, which normally your parents or things like that, your own savings. And then you'll get your seed round once you've proven your idea has something of it. The seed round might be 100 to 250k, and that will give you enough to get you a bit of evidence to support your idea and potentially build an MPV, so a minimum viable product, or get some customers or whatever. And then you want to bootstrap on that sort of seed round for as long as you can. And then you go to Series A, which is your right. With some money, we'll be able to build a team and really, start. We're not ready to scale, but we really get some meat on the bones. Then when you're doing that and you're hitting the KPIs that investment comes with, so we'll give you this, but in 6 months you've got to do this, this and this, and that's when most fall apart because they're nowhere near it and they didn't ever set out to do what the investors thought they were going to do. But if they do survive and then they get to Series B, that's really about, we're going to go absolutely nuclear now and scale.
So an art dealer friend of mine said she sees a piece and it winks at her.
Right.
She'll see a piece, be a piece of sculpture or a picture or something.
Amazing, yeah.
So you, as running Fern Equity, when does an opportunity wink at you? What is it that makes you turn your head?
So there are two real things. So one, is the idea a really good idea? It's not reinventing Facebook. It's not Facebook for willies, or it's not, bearded people for beards. It's got to do something that serves a purpose that you could say, that's a good idea, within 10 seconds. And then the second crucial factor is the team. So there are loads of great people out there, loads of people who may be a bit lazy or a bit entitled, who actually are a bit scared of hard work. To get a business anywhere, you've got to have the good idea, the balls to believe in it and stand by it when everyone's saying it's a terrible idea and they're not going to give you some money, but also the grit and experience and people around you and awareness to deliver on that. So you've got to put the grit in, you've got to work the weekends and the evenings, and you're just going to get on with it.
Which all sounds quite simple in a way, but it's quite rare that all of those things come together, isn't it?
It really is, and that's why probably the easiest things that wink at you most glaringly are businesses run by entrepreneurs who've had a previous exit, because they absolutely are on a different level. And actually I wish there'd be more platforms that expose those guys to the new guys, even though they're still in the same funding.
12 Ronnies is a fine example of a platform.
Funny you should mention that. There's a dearth of those. Yes.
We were talking to our friend Keith Jones from the Million Hours Project. Having some people with grey hair, not unlike me, who are over 50, is a good indicator of more chance of success. Is that something you'd agree with?
Definitely. I'm very pro-age, sort of all ages. I think the more experience you've got under your belt, the less surprises, or the more there will always be surprises, the more adept you are at handling them, I guess. What we'll see though is technology it's harder on older people because they haven't had the experience of working with technology, so the thinking might not be as technically agile as some of the younger entrepreneurs. However, those who are able to look at it and develop, there are many and they're brilliant. I think where age plays a really, really important part is on the advisor circuit. That's where you need a really good critical friend who can back it up with, look, I've seen this and it looks like this and this is how it plays out. And I think that's where age is the most valuable.
That's all interesting basis for the next question, which is, with Fern Equity, where do you want to take it next? What sort of things do you need to happen for Fern Equity to move from where it is, which is successful, to taking world domination?
Well, this is a short skip, hop and jump away. So the big picture ambition for Fern is to seed a fund, an impact investment fund, which will be a collaboration with some of our favourite investors. And then we really will put our money where our mouth is and invest in some of the great things and mentor them and keep going. However, it really is about the journey. So now we're at the point where we're at capacity with how many businesses we can work with. It would be great to get even more people working with us to propagate more businesses and more stuff. And what's really nice is stuff we were working with almost 2 years ago that was pre-seed and now coming to us with their Series A, Series B. So we've got a really nice family of investors who, be careful those who are like, call me in this round next time, or, next time, because I will knock on your door, because there will be a next time, because we get our companies through. And so it's really nice having that whole journey. So I really want to build up a really close network of investors who share my values and Fern's values and really believe in putting something back and making a difference.
Because I remember the conversation you and I had, or rather it was actually my colleague Simon, who said, Sally's looking for some impact investment opportunities. I went, right, okay, which I didn't actually understand what that meant. If you remember, I was calling you from the airport. I said, I've got a couple for you.
Yeah.
And then you quickly went through it, which was really helpful. And one of them was somebody making sustainable shoes.
Yes, GIIN, terrific.
And that's moved on.
Yeah.
So my question is, she's got a great story, and she features in another podcast, if you care to listen, Gaynor Saunders and her shoes. But she had always been an entrepreneur and came from a family and was looking for something else to do, and then came across well-fitting shoes. Went to Florence, I believe it was, to learn how these shoes are made. Yeah. And then I introduced her to you.
Yeah, it's great.
And so in Gaynor's case, she's a good example. She'd got her products. Yeah. She'd already got a bit of investment, I think. Yeah. And she was set up. Is that how you want people to come to you?
It really, really varies. Sometimes something's almost too far done and they're almost at the end of the race and they're like 150k short, and that's a bit of a scramble. I think prefer to go on a journey with someone, so I'm sort of
forgive the phrase invested.
Yeah, oh God. So
skin in the game.
Oh, the impact of that pun. No, I think I really like these, and the great thing about someone like Gaynor is she just cuts to the chase. We get a lot done quickly because she's organised, she knows what she's on, she's focused. Investors love her. It's easy to understand. It's yes or no. Let's keep going. With others, they're so interesting who, an investor can really pivot a business sometimes, especially early on, and sometimes you can see a business going, well, that's against what you've always wanted to do, so I pull it back in the room at risk of losing investors, but it's got to be the right investor. So it really varies. The other extreme is a company who are doing so well, they need some more investment to deliver some of the big orders they've got coming in, and they're in a massive rush, and it's like just catching up with them. So I enjoy the challenge of the different speeds and stories, I guess.
With somebody who is listening to this podcast,
yeah,
what is the one thing they can do right now which helps actually make them in a more acceptable and manageable state when they come to you?
Follow me on Twitter and Sally B_G. But I think get in touch, because there are two things. If you're an entrepreneur with an impactful business, or you think, then let's have a chat. I'm really happy to hear your story and see if I can help. More importantly, so the wheels come off without investors. So I think investors, angels, they're a little, sparse actually. I'm finding I work more with institutions that deign to look at the earlier stuff because they really quite like the pipeline coming through. So anyone in any field who just wants to know a bit more about impact deal flow, just have a chat.
Do you think there's a bit of work to be done to get investors to think more edge-like?
Definitely. And I think that's the relation building piece that Fern, in the early days, really spent probably a year, rubbing shoulders with all the right investors and to try and stand out. Because there are loads of deals out there, people can get their deal flow, that's fine. But actually, I'm starting to build a relationship with a different deal flow because all my businesses are really different and they're all great stories. And actually, I like what tends to work is when you get the human investor who's really like, God, that's a great story, yeah, and they remember it's got that stickiness. And then you can make things happen. We can fill in the cracks. We can get everyone to agree to go a bit lower or do something different. You've got to get that connection, and often that is the personal touch. So.
When I was a kid, hardly anybody worked for themselves. Investors were something completely odd and unknown. Now, everybody talks about investment. Everybody talks about entrepreneurialism and technology.
Yes.
Do you think it's going to get more and more like that 6 years from now?
100%. I think what's really exciting is in 6 years' time, if you look at AIM, which is the sort of, warm-up for the FTSE 100, I think, 80 to 90% of those will feature machine learning companies, AI companies, VR stuff, and I think that's going to start filtering into the FTSE 100. And in 6 years' time, I think 3/4 of the FTSE 100 won't exist anymore. It will be all new companies. So
the future's bright?
Really bright, really dynamic.
Current FTSE 100.
Yeah, good. Think smart. There's a hint.
So, Sally, where do people find you in Fern Equity?
Right, so it's fernequity.co.uk, Sally Graham on LinkedIn. That's the best way to get hold of me, I think.
Sally Graham, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you for listening. Please sign up to 12ronnies.com and subscribe to our groups and YouTube channel so you never miss a podcast from 12ronnies.com.